Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious banana muffin with 3 different toppings. I find that sometimes people prefer walnuts, others prefer chocolate chips, and some people even like a crumb topping. So today we're going to please everybody and do 1 batch of muffins with 3 different toppings. And if you're not already a subscriber, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then that way you won't miss any of my future recipes. Okay, let's get to making the muffins. So the first thing you want to do is begin with 2 very ripe bananas. If you don't begin with a ripe banana, your muffins will not have a very strong banana flavor, and they also won't be very sweet. Now, if you have found yourself in the house without any ripe bananas, I'm going to show you my favorite hack for ripening a banana in 20 minutes or less. This is how you do it. You take out a large sheet pan, line it with foil because this does get a bit messy the longer these bananas are going to sit in the oven, so it just makes for easier cleanup. Place the 2 bananas on your sheet pan, then pop them in the oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. And basically what you want to do is at the 10-minute mark, flip them, and you'll see the skin of it will already start turning brown. But then once 20 minutes have passed, the whole thing is like black. And then what you want to do is remove the peel, and once inside, you'll see those bananas will be soft and mushy. And it's just like a banana that's been sitting in your counter for over a week, but instead you did it in 20 minutes. Allow your bananas to cool off a little bit and then place them in a bowl. And then to your bananas, you're going to add 2 eggs. Then you're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar. Then we're going to do 3/4 cup of melted butter, which is going to add a lot of richness to the muffins. And then we're also going to add a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, which is going to add a lot of moisture and make our muffins really tender and moist inside. And to that, you're also going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then I also like to add my 1/2 cup of water. I just find that that is the secret ingredient to a light and fluffy muffin. You got to have the water. And then you can whisk that all together until combined. And then you can set that aside. And then in a medium-sized bowl, we're going to add 1 3/4 cup of just all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you can whisk that all up. Then just add your dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. So once your batter is all ready to go, then I like to bake these in a jumbo muffin tin. I think that's how you get those really elegant looking muffins that look like they came out of the local coffee shop. But you could actually make these in a 12-cup muffin tin. There's enough batter to do either, so the choice is yours. And then I'm also going to be using some parchment paper muffin liners. I like the parchment paper because I think it blends in really nicely with the muffin and makes for a pretty display as well. And then to fill your muffins, I like to use an ice cream scoop. So you're going to do about 1.5 scoops in each muffin well. So normally if I'm making a bunch of different toppings, I would just do 2 of each. So 2 with the walnuts, 2 with the chocolate chip, and 2 with the crumb topping. So the crumb topping recipe I'm going to show you would be enough crumb topping for 2 muffins. But if you wanted to have all your banana muffins have crumb topping, I would just triple this recipe, okay? In a small bowl, you're going to add a tablespoon of sugar, a tablespoon of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And you can whisk that all up until it's combined. And then you're also going to add in 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So whisk this all together and you'll start to get like a pasty mixture. And then you also want to add 2 tablespoons of old-fashioned oats, and you'll get a nice crumbly crumb. So you can distribute this crumb topping across 2 muffins, and then you can add some chocolate chips to the other muffins. I like to use the dark chocolate chips because I find the dark chocolate adds a really nice richness to it that's not too sweet, but you could also use semi-sweet if you prefer. And then the last muffins, they're going to get the walnuts. Then you can bake these at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for just about 22 to 25 minutes, just until they're nicely risen and golden brown. And then I like to dust the ones that have the crumb topping with a little bit of powdered sugar because I think it looks really pretty against the crumb topping. And you'll see when you slice into these muffins how delicate and light the crumb is and how moist and tender they are, mixed with the topping of your choice. You can't go wrong. There is something for everybody in this banana muffin recipe. Now, if you'd like to know how to make a traditional banana bread recipe, I highly recommend my ultimate banana bread recipe. And you can click that annotation and I'll meet you over there.